happy Monday to many of our audience in Asia and Pacific, and welcome to our second Hangout on Air. Today we will talk about smart tourism, and it's one of the exciting themes that we are going to cover at Enter Conference, and this next year Enter Conference is going to be in February 2015, and it's going to be located in Lugano, Switzerland. And today we have two experts in smart tourism, Dr. Ulrike Gretzel from University of Queensland, Australia, and Dr. Chulmo Koo from Kyung Hee University at in South Korea. So before we start with our discussion today, I'm going to introduce briefly the two panelists today. Dr. Ulrike Gretzel is a professor of tourism at UQ Business School in University of Queensland, and she has been part of the IFITT family for a while and has been recognized for her expertise in IT and tourism research, and she has published widely in tourism and technology areas. And she has received funding from the Australian Research Council, the U.S. National Science Foundation, and so on. And her research area is in persuasion in human technology interaction, information search and processing, big data, social media, and also inter-organizational information systems. So thank you very much, Uli, for coming, for being our expert today. And Dr. Chulmo Koo is an associate professor at Kyung Hee University in South Korea, and his research focuses on technology adoption, diffusion, and implementation of human technology interaction, social media, and also he has been funded by the National Research Foundation in South Korea, and he is now a managing director of Smart Tourism Research Center at Kyung Hee University. So thank you, Chulmo, for being here with us today. And we have actually received several questions from our audience, and the first question happens to, I think, relevant to our first topic of discussion. So we are going to select that question from Angie, which is, how do you define smart tourism and any good example? So I would like to ask Uli and Chulmo to briefly define smart tourism from your perspective, and what are the ultimate goals of smart tourism development? What is actually smart tourism, and what it takes for destinations to develop smart tourism? And maybe Uli can start first, and then Chulmo.
Oh, I was going to say Chulmo starts first because he has the more comprehensive definition, if you don't mind, because you have, I think, some slides that summarize it, and then I'm going to actually build on that.
All right. Okay, so Chulmo, you can start first.
Okay, animal first and lady second. You know what? Interestingly, smart tourism, we are pursuing on the theme of smart tourism. However, the definition of smart tourism is not fixed yet. So Uli and I, we offer a special issue on electronic market journal. The title is Smart Tourism. And we are going to define the smart tourism definition. But however, we approximately provide that broad definition of smart tourism, which must provide personalized service and location-based service or context-based service travel informations on demand or real-time base. It's through the state-of-art technology and communication technology to enhance tourism experience and engage in human-to-human, business-to-business, or machine-to-machine, including internal visitors and outside visitors. So smart tourism, the characteristic of smart tourism, the keyword is on demand and real time. The personal experience on the travel items probably want to post their experience on social network, which means link, sharing, forwarding, and based on their sharing and forwarding the contents, they may engage in each other. And also they feel kind of a personalized context, the tourism service, which is game. So in terms of technology, we probably focus on mobile technology and social media, and we try to identify digital trace or digital footprint, and try to recognize the pattern recognition, which leads to the better smart management. So in terms of technology, in terms of characteristic, in terms of service, its definition is so broad. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking about smart tourism.
Okay, well, I'm going to add to that I think there's different layers to smart tourism, and one is definitely the technological layer, where we have the mobile technology, but I would like to add also the sensors. So there's more and more sensors also embedded in our mobile phones, but ever more so sensors that are also embedded in buildings or products, or so we have really this notion of ambient intelligence that we can tap into. So for smart tourism, I think that technological infrastructure is critical. Wi-Fi, and maybe also some technological advances there in terms of social Wi-Fi, so you actually can tap into what people are doing, what they're accessing when they are tapping into your Wi-Fi. So the technological base, but then we also have an organizational layer, and smart tourism for me is all about coordination, because you can no longer have a single provider doing everything. So smart tourism, I think, inherently requires that there's multiple sources of data, multiple providers feeding into smart tourism, and also maybe someone like a destination marketing organization taking over a coordinating role. And I think more and more so collaboration between IT and tourism. So we usually have it that IT designs something and then tourism buys it and uses it. I think smart tourism is more about that ongoing collaboration and innovation. And then I think it's that experience layer, and Chulmo has already said that it's about personalized experiences, but I think it's also very much about seamless experiences, where you allow someone to come into a destination, so seamless in terms of at the destination, moving through a destination, and then also seamless, I think, in terms of the different phases of the pre-trip, the on-trip, and the after-trip phases, where your experience with smart tourism, I think, starts a lot earlier, continues, and then really follows you around a little after your trip as well. So smart for me means just advanced, enhanced, better, and technologically mediated and supported.
Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead.
You know, actually, the terms of smart, where their terms originate from, the smartphone. So we must understand the meaning of a smartphone. Smart. What is the meaning of a smart? I think the smart is better than usual. Probably the normal people may understand that the smart is better than usual, better than competitors, smarter than the competitors, and smarter than the conventional, things like that. So smartness is a kind of a network of cooperating businesses interconnected each other. And there are a lot of people from outside and globally swarm technology, swarm intelligence, collective behavior in self-organization systems by simple individual interacting locally with one another, with the environment without centralized control. So those kind of swarm intelligence may find optimized for specific needs and preference and in a specific context base. So we must understand the meaning of smart in order to define the smart tourism.
Yeah, it's really based on intelligent systems, so systems that learn, systems that actually are able to harness big data, and systems that can make connections, so that really, I guess, put data together in interesting ways to create new value.
Right. I think another part of the question was if you have any good examples of probably the implementation of smart tourism. Perhaps you have a destination in mind that is implementing this smart tourism concept successfully, or probably one of your projects, etc., that you want to share.
Can you see that my slide?
Yes.
Yes. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a 3 layers for smart tourism. Here in the Korea, Seoul, especially, we are trying to implement all kinds of different systems, devices, application for realizing smart, tourism.
Sorry, I think you need to move your camera a little bit up.
It's better. Sorry. So, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into smart tourism, first of all, we must think about the smart city. Basically, the smart city composed of 3 layers. One is physical space, so construction, road, building, etc. Second of all, the smart space provide IT infrastructure, and the ubiquitous networking systems, Wi-Fi, GPS systems get together. And then finally, based on those smart space and physical spaces, we must converse of diverse business models, the education, healthcare, entertainment, commerce. So we include those kind of conventional and the corporate business together and making the creative or generative smart tourism, connecting to the social media, website, augmented reality, wearable computing, and things like that. So smart tourism should link other conceptual models, including a smart city and smart life, and yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Korea is really where a lot of things are happening. So there's just also because of the technological infrastructure that is available in a city like Seoul. And I think also the Korean National Tourism Organization being you know, one of the innovators in that space. So I think there's things happening there. Beyond that, I haven't seen a comprehensive implementation of it. I'm seeing little bits and pieces. I think the European ski resorts are good examples of smart destinations, but they're you know, they're confined areas, but they have RFID tags implemented that allow you to seamlessly move through gates or pay for different services. So I would mention that as an example of a beginning phase. They also have, you know, push technology to, you know, push weather warnings to your mobile phones and all that. So I think that would be, yeah, one of the examples that I would mention.
Thank you. And actually, you mentioned earlier about you know, smart tourism. It's all about being connected, smart management, and coordination within the destination. So, would you like to add specifically what are the implications for tourism destinations if they would like to embrace or you know, develop smart tourism in their destination? Chulmo mentioned about smart tourism being better than your competitor. So what are the strategic implications for destinations to be better than your competitor using these different layers that you have mentioned earlier?
You know what? Interestingly, the major part of visiting tourists from China and Japan here in Korea. But unfortunately, they come to Korea, the using of group tourism, which means they just follow some certain route and the place and items. So actually, there's very conventional, you know, tourism business here in Korea. But my research and the smart tourism must provide very personalized and customization tourism service using of technology. So kind of the FIT, free independent travelers. You know what? These days, each individual users, individual tourists adopt IT technology faster than any other, you know, companies and organizations. So the smart destination must consider the smart tourist, how they behavior and adopt technology and apply for a certain, you know, purpose. So, for example, Chinese and Japanese American choose a particular touristic site here in Seoul, especially Myeongdong district, the famous shopping center. They spend a lot of money only for shopping, and also when they return to their home country, they spend their money for free duty-free shops, which means they only some corporate, you know, companies and some certain place they're making money from the tourist business. So smart tourism and the smart destination must provide some diverse, you know, the business and try to make a link to the local companies and the communities, and that which is the money come from the tourists to the local individual shop entrepreneurs. So in order to do that, you know, a smart destination must reliable information and alternative site and accessibly the route and information and all different kinds of ancillary services such as exchanging money, information center, language translating, and wallet service, and available package, you know, service, and things like that. So smart destination, you know, should implement the smart city as well as smart business model and other smart life together.
So basically, it's about using the technology to facilitate better collaboration with all the stakeholders and implementing smart businesses.
Yes.
That's what you're saying, right? What do you want to have?
Yeah, but I think it's also looking beyond your traditional partners, right? Where destinations usually see the hotels and the attractions, the major attractions, as, you know, their collaborators. But I think smart tourism means that you have to look at the credit card companies, you have to look at telecommunications companies, you have to think about here in Australia, in Brisbane, Australia Post, so the National Post Office is developing some payment systems that enhance tourism experiences. So I think it's beyond that traditional circle of what tourism is. But I would also like to mention that I think you need to make an experience audit, because I think if your experience is bad, the technology is not going to fix it. And so smart tourism is not going to create something out of nothing, or maybe it can, but it will be very difficult. So I think it's understanding the experience and understanding those smart tourists, as Chulmo has said, is very critical in that. So from a strategic point of view, I think destinations have to do a lot of groundwork for smart tourism to really deliver.
So, and how you mentioned earlier about seamless experiences for the tourists. What will be the impacts of smart tourism for tourists? Given that, you know, you mentioned that nowadays, you know, tourists are smarter and they are using devices all the time, whether they are at a familiar destination or unfamiliar destination. What will be the impacts of smart tourism for tourists?
You know, like what Uli mentioned, you know, foundation and the groundwork is absolutely we need. And through those kind of actual experience, and then we can elaborate those experience using of IT technology. I totally agree. But however, in the times of information technology, like what I said, the tourists become much smarter than the before. And the people try to use the all kinds of device and business models and apps. Like, you know, Chinese complain a lot about language barrier here in Seoul. So their demand actually delivered to the smart destination of Seoul. And then Seoul, the organization, the trip organization, they try to make the Chinese language apps, and they install the two dialect Chinese language. Sorry. So I guess the smart tourists make the lead the destination to make the better place, including embedded in the necessary, you know, apps and devices. So the being a smart tourism is kind of become intelligent. Making decision is properly and timely and the more, you know, efficiently, kind of a just-in-time decision making while during the trips. So the kind of the communication between people and the Mercian and the other corporate, you know, the apps, would the people become smarter and intelligent. So they may, you know, enjoy more, you know, the tourism based on their budget and the time constraint. You know, one very example, my personal, this is my personal experience and example. My brothers-in-law, actually he's French. The French guy is demand me some kind of a very specific, you know, needs. He wants to send his father and mother to Seoul, Korea, and guide to the local, you know, temple stay, supporting by French language. But actually, that is impossible here in Korea. But I'm the professor of the tourism, so I noticed to that demand to the destination of Seoul organization, and this is, you know, in these days, a lot of the IFITT visitors enjoy their specific needs and taste here in Seoul. So would you make that kind of a business model for them? And then they thinking about that kind of, you know, context-based business model.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Uli, do you want to add, perhaps?
Yeah, I think just to maybe not add, but to summarize, so it's really, as I said in the beginning, also more seamless. So all those, the friction, I guess the you know, challenges that you encounter as a tourist would be alleviated. Now, of course, there's tourists who would say that that would take away from the experience, because that's partly you know, the excitement. You know, you have to find your way around a different place, and but I think whatever you decide to do as a tourist, the system around you supports that kind of experience, and the information you need is available to you in that moment. So that I think the context-based delivery of information, of course, is very important. But I think ultimately it also makes the providers disappear. So you don't necessarily know who you're dealing with, and so from a tourist perspective, that's probably good in some ways. If you think about air travel, for example, a lot of people check in and think, let's say they check in with Singapore Airlines somewhere in the world, they think that the people at the counter actually are Singapore Airlines employees, and then if the luggage gets lost, they think that Singapore Airlines has lost it. So they don't necessarily see that there's different providers. They think that the meal on the plane was bad, so Singapore Airlines, you know, is or good, so they attribute that to Singapore Airlines. So they don't see the value chain that is going on behind that. So in some ways that's good, because if you have a complaint, then you just have one provider to complain to, and hopefully they will resolve it. But it also means if you have a complaint, and it's very hard for you to figure out who actually messed up. And from an industry perspective, if we think about customer loyalty and branding, brand relationships, you know, as a customer, then as a tourist, who do you relate to? What's your association with? Is it the destination, or you know, is it the hotel because you think that they actually provided all the information? So it's very tricky, I think, and really challenges our concept of branding and marketing as well.
Mm-hmm. I guess you know, the in terms of technology, 1970 and 80, and probably we are focusing on automation and reservation, the using of you know, computer reservation system or global distribution system. And after internet, you know, we are focused on the kind of price transparency and the online community, things like that. And now it's time of smart, you know, the devices, which means we can connect constantly connected and engage with each other. So I think people, the using of other people's idea and information and knowledge, we can be smarter and smarter. And then the smart people, continually commit to each country, like Ulis, he here and there, and then he probably have knowledge of other countries, smart tourism and other countries' systems, and then they demand their country, home country, to make their site or tourism is much more intelligently or smartly. So being a smart tourism, being a smart tourist, which means lead the organization or companies to be a smart.
So it's not only that the smart tourists nowadays they would overcome their challenges when they are experiencing tourism destinations, but they are also providing feedback at the same time to lead the tourism destinations to become better. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have only a few minutes left, and in terms of research areas under the umbrella of smart tourism, what do you think are the critical areas in smart tourism for tourism research today? Especially, since we are going to cover these themes at Enter Conference, and for researchers out there who are interested in smart tourism, do you have any, perhaps from your perspectives, some areas that are very important for us to research on?
Yeah, Chulmo and I actually work on privacy, because this whole smart tourism paradigm relates to people being willing to give and receive information freely. So we need to better understand what that means in the context of tourism, and what some of the I guess conditions are, or barriers for that to happen.
You know what? The couple of months ago, the TripAdvisor reported their analysis of data. 83% of travelers say TripAdvisor reviews make them more confident in their travel decisions, which means their reviews, is very critical for smart tourists and for smart destination, for smart companies. So absolutely, big data, including text mining, online imagery, and word-of-mouth marketing, and trust and the security and price issues, and those kind of conventionally we take care of. However, we must apply for the smart tourism context. We invite that kind of the situation and the theories and converge it together for achieving smart tourism. So the best one is text mining is critical. In order to realize text mining methodology, probably we need some computer guys to collect the data from the large volume of data from the sites. Probably that we need collaboration with those guys who can handle the crawling the data.
Right. So methodology-wise, it allows us, I guess, to collaborate with researchers from different disciplines. There is another question from the audience that we haven't answered yet. It's from Francisco Arteaga. He said he asked, how likely does a tourist use DMO's official mobile apps instead of TripAdvisor or Travelocity? Because Chulmo mentioned a little bit about TripAdvisor earlier. And I think in many countries, smart tourism is really highly associated with mobile apps of destinations that creates for tourists. So how likely, from your probably observation and research, how likely does tourists actually use these apps instead of social media?
Yeah, so it totally depends on the app, and tourists will only use it if they see value being added for them. Because, I mean, we know that we have variety seeking in tourism, so it's not like a general app that you download and regularly use. So for a destination where you go maybe just once in a lifetime, it needs to have a very clear value proposition. So in for a lot of destinations, that's actually coupons that really allow you to tap into special offers. In Korea, for example, there's an app really that provides a lot of content, interpretive content that you would otherwise not have access to. Excuse me. So that could also be of value. So content is definitely a driver. TripAdvisor, Travelocity, they don't have that interpretive content at all at the moment. So I think as a destination, you need to think about what that added value is. And I think then there's still a great likelihood for people to want to download that app.
You know what, the English native speaker, probably they can use any apps, global apps. And even English language speaker, they adopted two types of the software. One is iPhone, iOS software. Another is Android software. So the DMO have to provide two types of the apps for Android users, iPhone users, which means it's cost. And also, here in Korea is a small, tiny the country of the all of the world. So the Chinese and the Japanese and the Australian and Indonesian is a few tiny, and American they come to Korea. The DMO absolutely must provide all different kinds of language, apps. So which means it's very difficult to timely installation for them. So we mainly provide the English apps and the Chinese apps and Japanese apps, and that's it. So actually to realize smart tourism, the FIT is important. The FIT coming from all kinds of different countries. So the DMO also provide all kinds of different language apps. So it's difficult. And one of the Korea tourism organizations provide very variable apps, providing all the very variable contents from local community and the local companies and the professional editors, professional tourists. The problem is the text-based, I mean, the government-based apps actually is very imposed, very specific way. They cannot make money using of their apps, which means they are not automatically updated their contents, which means the people are not satisfied with their current contents. So I think the public and the private partnership is essentially necessary to give the right information, proper information, updated information. So these days, the DMO, the Korea Tourism Organization, tried to invite private company to enjoy, to use their, the open API, which means they understand their out-of-date contents is not they're solved by themselves. Yeah. So I mean it takes money and time, but however we keep going on and integrate website, social media, and apps and the bloggers is in a one shot. Right. Yeah.
And I would like to add that you also need to provide free Wi-Fi if you want your tourists to download your apps.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as an international tourist, you're not going to use your roaming to download an app, and you're more likely to have already installed some of these Travelocity or whatever intermediary apps.
Yeah, one of the very example, we have discussed with the Chinese government last year. Chinese government want to pursue their smart tourism like a Korean government, and we realize a very big problem over there. China cannot provide Wi-Fi systems in historic sites. So smart tourism is basically there is IT infrastructures implemented, and then apps.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I think our time is up, and we answered all the questions. So thank you very much again, Uli and Chulmo, for being here with us, and thank you for our audience who joined us live, and for those who couldn't be with us live, the video will be available on YouTube. And just a reminder, the call for papers for Enter 2015 is up, and we would like to invite all of the researchers and destination managers and also tourism industry to submit your research papers, your industry cases and destination cases related on IT and travel and tourism, and hope to see you all at Enter Conference in Lugano next year. So thank you again, Uli and Chulmo. Have a good day, and bye-bye.
Thank you for organizing it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your dedication.
Thank you.